So, welcome to another edition of my opening commentary, my editorial piece, Conrad Stake. And this morning, I really just want to look at a few things here, and maybe one thing. And that's the whole business of crime and violence in our society. And let me start off first by commending the police for the work that they would have done to reduce the murder numbers, certainly the numbers that we're getting from the police blotter, showing us a decrease in the murder year on year. So I want to offer commendation on that. But on the other hand, we're very, very concerned about the police killing. Very, very concerned about that, because more and more we're seeing where families are coming out and they're crying foul against some of the shooting that took place by the police. And indeed, we also have cameras, footage captured and cameras to basically justify some of those cries that the residents, the citizens of Jamaica are making and crying foul against some of the police activities. It's indeed for some time now that we have seen various squads in Jamaica, various squads formed under different administration to basically deal with, hardened gunmen, as it were. However, sometimes they get it wrong. But what we're seeing and hearing now is that there seems to be a squad that is out there that has a particular mandate, and questions being asked there. Of course, Jamaica for Justice asking some question. Don't know that my friend Miss Jackson is as vociferous as she could be on these matters. We also hear from the body that's set up by Parliament to look at these issues, Indicom. They're also raising some concern there. And indeed, a number of us in the Fourth Estate in media, we have concerns as well. And that is one of the reasons why we continue to put forward the point that it is impatient of debate as to how important the body-worn cameras are for our men and women who dressed in blue, right? So we want to see that. But, the sad thing is that we continue to see heinous murders taking place in the country by gunmen, marauding gunmen are all over the place, still touting their guns. Recently, we have seen where the police have reported a number of murders, 4, 5, 6 murders committed in 24 hours. So it seems as if, although the reduction is on, coming into the last half of the year or the last quarter of the year, we're seeing where the numbers seems to be basically inching up. And we all woke up this morning to one of the most terrified news. Over there, a community that I'm sure my listeners who now resides overseas country is well familiar with. We saw where, and that's the constituency that borders Damien Crawford and Natalie Nita Garvey. We saw where marauding gunmen went to a house last night, based on the report, and Madam Producer, I did send you a clip from RJR on it, and we can probably play it somewhere in the program that was reported, where marauding gunmen went and they opened gunshot indiscriminately. When the dust settled, 9 were shot, 5 lie dead on the ground, and 4 is now nursing gunshot wound in the hospital. Now, a situation like this take place in the United States of America, for example. It's wall-to-wall coverage. Press conferences over press conferences and so on. You know, the police department basically dealing with that and all sorts of things. In Jamaica, we become numb to these things. So in the main, we get a little statement from the police here and there, and it's always said something like this: we will be leaving no stone unturned to find the criminals. And we are warning the gunmen that this is not a safe place to commit crime. But it continued to happen over and over and over again. And just imagine a house being attacked, 9 persons, or anywhere being attacked, 9 people shot. This is what you really describe as heinous crime. And I believe that the police indeed should leave no stone unturned to ensure that they capture these marauding gunmen. My friend, Senator Lambert Brown, Lammy, you know, we always talk, and whether on air or off air. And one of the things that he always said is that he's happy that the figures are going down. But one of the things is that there's just too many guns out there in the hands of criminals. And the gun itself, one would say the gun can't fire itself. It's really handled by men. And of course that is so. But the truth is that once the guns are out there in the hands of criminals, illegal guns are out there, then it takes nothing for you to have a flip. It takes nothing for the situation to flip, and you have what we saw there last night. Or the report, because this morning I actually woke up in the wee hours of the morning and checked my phone, and that's when I saw the thing, you know, doing the rounds and social media. And then when daybreak broke, certainly we got the conclusion, we got the confirmation of it. So all in all, we here want to offer our deepest condolences to the families and friends of all those 5 persons that were killed, including the child. Because child was a part of that, and we gather that it is 2 females and 3 males. And don't know the condition of the 4 that is in the hospital. Don't know if we can get we can get a call to Deputy or Assistant Commissioner Phillips. You know, remember the last time I spoke to him down there in Old Harbour, we did an outside broadcast. We probably can get through to Mr. Phillips and see if he can tell us what is happening, what's the lay of the land. We know that the police basically issue a statement saying that it seems as if it's gang violence, you know, so it would be interesting for us to hear what is happening in the space there as it relates to gangs. You know, all gangs still very active within the St. Catherine community there, you know, Spanish Town leading all the way back down to Linstead area there and so on, because of course we know that's normally a kind of hotbed there. So we're hoping that the police will get a lid on this. And we also hear coming out of Western Jamaica, Westmoreland to be exact, where a 29-year-old young lady, she was killed, murdered, and stuffed into a suitcase. The father was on the news this morning, and he said that what happened, he gathered that they hit her in the head, you know, knock her out, and proceed to do whatever else, and then her body was stuffed in the suitcase. And when you listen to the father, guess what? He said this is his 3rd child. His 3rd child that has been murdered in this year. I don't know how many people are listening to me who have ever had a family member being murdered. I certainly had a brother who were murdered by gunmen. And to date, I can tell you, the scar still run deep in our family. It is something that every time you talk about it, you feel a chill in your body and your voice basically, maybe changes. So I understand in a big way what the father is going through. Just so you had one and it is so chilling, let alone you're asked to bury 3 of your children in 1 year. The fact is that it is always said that children is supposed to bury their parents. And this gentleman, hear him saying that, boy, him can't lose 3 children, and it just go like this. He want justice. Don't know what is the circumstance, but certainly it's a painful episode. So all in all, we still have the whole business of crime and violence taking center stage right here in Jamaica land we love. Started with my commendation based on the report that we have been getting that the numbers had gone down somewhat, but it must be of serious concern when we're still approaching maybe close to 1,000 murder once again, and we're asking the gun tutors. We know it's a difficult ask in that, they may not pay us any mind, but we're still asking, pleading even to gunmen, turn the gun in. There's a better way. Find a church. Find something productive to do. Forget the gang situation. And that is why, for example, somebody like me have serious problems when we hear because I spoke to the JTA boss last week or so, and he said that, there's no policy to turn children out of school, even when they're inappropriately attired. But we hear from time to time that students are basically sent home on the road. And these kind of activities that we're talking about, the youngsters are prime recruiting ground, very fertile ground there for recruitment. So we want to have our youngsters, both male and female, in schools and in productive activity. So, again, let's offer condolences to those who lost loved one, and we hope and pray for a speedy recovery for those who are nursing injuries in the hospital. Gentleman down there in Westmoreland, Savlamar, my prayer is with you, sir, for you to be losing 3 of your children in 1 year. Something is happening. The pastors and so on, they would argue that there seems to be a curse somewhere there. Don't know. But that's immediately what you would get from some pastors, members, persons who wear the cloth, members of the clergy. They would actually say that prayers always important, and we put you under our prayers this morning, sir. It must be in any language very, very heart-wrenching and very difficult. I think the new member of parliament down there is doing Vaz, not seeking to understand any form of coloration to this gentleman also, but I believe that a time like this, everybody need to go out and give this gentleman support. That's Conrad's take. Stay with me.
News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere. The time on News Talk 93 FM.